Yes, I think we are live. Okay, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Thank you for joining this Time is Money session. My name is Miranda van Berkel. I'm based in the Netherlands and I'm representing Learn on Demand System as the Director of International Business Development. For your awareness, this session, Time is Money, minimize time and effort while creating users will be recorded. And I would like to share with you that, of course, no data or any personal information is being collected. It would be great if you could all mute your mics and turn off your video. And please feel free to use the chat for any questions that you might have. They will be answered in the chat right away, and this will not be in the recordings that you will receive afterwards. So I'm going to end my video now as well, so that I can start sharing my screen with you to start this session. That was the intro video. Sorry for that. Creating users and enrolling them for classes can take a lot of time, but hopefully after this session, not anymore. We will explain how you can minimize time and effort involved and get the content into the hands of your learners quickly and easily. We will be focusing on all the time-saving techniques you can use to make creating and enrolling users into that training much more efficient. Our goal is to lessen the time it takes to create a user and get the training into their hands so that they can get started right away. With, of course, minimal administration from you and your team. In this session, we will cover all the ways a user account can be created, as well as the different enrollment methods, such as training keys and self-enrollment. We will go over the benefits of each method and how they can be configured to work for you. So the key takeaways for today's meeting are streamline user registration. That is still a difficult word for Dutch girl, the RS. How to use different types of training keys for your specific scenario and explore self-enrollments and other helpful tips. This presentation will take about 35-40 minutes. My colleague Gina Robb, she is our TMS coordinator, is in the call with us as well. And with pleasure, we will together answer any questions you might have directly after this session. But again, also feel free to use the chat. If you would like to win a gift card, please snap a picture with or without you in it. It is, of course, whatever you prefer and what you are feeling comfortable with. And share your picture on social media. This can be Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. And please don't forget to tag Learn on Demand Systems. And it just might be that you are one of the lucky winners of a gift card. So on the agenda for today, we are going to talk about user registration, training keys, self-enrollment, and we will end before it's question time with some additional tips and tricks. To the partners we are working with, we offer the use of our training management completely for free. This site can be customized with your own logo, a background, colors. I'm trying to show you that site right now. This is the training management system that I'm showing you. This is the one that I wanted to show you. This is an example of how a site could look like. Students can sign in with their username and password, or they can also enroll themselves by using an event training key. So here we have the sign in button, and here people can register with using the event training key. What I would like to share with you is that in the URL, anything in front of the .learnondemand.net can be changed for free. If you prefer not to have Learn on Demand in your URL, that is possible as well. We call this white labeling of your URL, and then it can be anything you prefer. So the yearly maintenance fee for partners who choose to use their own domain name instead of .learnondemand.net has some costs. You will need us to provide with your preferred domain name, your SL certificate, and the yearly pricing per certificate will then be $125 US. So that is per year. Let me go back to the presentation, and I want to show you as well something about users. Before we get into the different ways that you can enroll your users, I think it's important that we look at the different ways a user can be created within our systems. This again, and this is the view of our training management system, which I believe is familiar to the most of you. To access our platform, a user will need to either have an account created for them manually by an administrator, or they will need to self-register, and that is something that we will cover shortly. Manually creating users may be fine for when you are creating 1 or 2 accounts at a time, but can quickly become draining when you are creating several classes worth of accounts for your users. Couple that with time required to get the information to the students to log in, and it can quickly grow out of control. But as mentioned, operation managers can create an account for each user directly in the training management system. You need to go to the create user option, which you can find here. You simply click on it. And from there you can start creating the account. As you can see, the basic information, specific roles, any information can be added, and of course also the time zone that you will need from where the person is based in this case. But what if you have bigger groups? This is easy if you have to create 1 or 2 users, but what if you have bigger groups? Thankfully, we have some easier and more efficient ways to get large number of users into the training management system. And this will undoubtedly save you a lot of time. The importer using users using the import using tool in the TMS will help you to do this. And this, yeah, well, this is something that will help you to manage getting up multiple accounts. While the manual method only lets you create 1 student at a time, the import user tool will let you create up to 10,000 accounts with each upload. So that is completely different from just the 1 or 2 accounts that you can create manually. You can create, of course, more, but with this you can create a lot of accounts just at once. The import tool takes advantage of a CSV template that you can input user information into, and you will be required to add the following fields to every user. That will be the first name, the last name, the username and email, but you can also input information such as a password, job title, phone number, address, city, state, country, so a lot of possibilities. This can be added to a downloadable user import template found on the import page. Let me show you the training management system again. There is the mouse. If I work with multiple screens, I intend to lose it, but I found it again. Importing users can be done, as mentioned, quickly and easily. Where can I find it? Import users under the user tool. Again, import users. As you can see, to create multiple users, you use this tool. This opens the import user page, which I currently have done, and then you can click import to download the template to build the CSV file for your users. This is on the page. Once that data is input, you can select the organization your users belong to. This can be done at the top. You can select the time zone, whether you want to add any specific user roles or user groups, and you can elect to have them change their password on first login or receive notifications if your organization is using automated notifications. You can then upload your filled-in template and click Go, and your accounts will automatically be created for you. If there are any issues with any of the records in the template, such as a user already having an account, the system will flag these for you and let you know the record line number. And you can either choose to proceed with the upload or go back and fix your information and perform the upload again. Once the import is successful, you will see a success message and you will have a list and links to all of the newly created accounts. This option is extremely useful for creating multiple user accounts as well as instructor accounts too. Yeah, there we are. We have the right screen again. There are some caveats that I would like to share. While you do create the accounts for the users, you will still need to get them to get the users the credentials. To solve this issue, you can take advantage of automated notifications, which we will cover in our Bring the Sizzle B session. And you can create notifications to go out with your organization's default password when a user account is created. Also, this import method does not enroll students into any kind of training. So you will then either need to manually enroll the users in classes or course assignments or utilize training keys. While this method speeds up the account creation process, it still may not be most efficient way of enrolling students into training. The import method still requires staff to create the accounts for the students and distribute credentials. But we have another way that users can get into the system by creating their own accounts. Your organization can be configured to allow students to self-register. This means that your TMS, Training Management System login page will have a Create an Account button, and users can click the button and enter their own information in, including their own username and password. And this method takes some of the burden of the administrator and lets the student handle their own registration. This is also beneficial to the students because they don't have to worry about remembering or locating a temporary password to log in for the first time. This should also help with users remembering their username or password, since they are generating this themselves. You can send out an email to your students when they sign in, when they sign up to take training with you. And all you will need to do is direct them to your unique URL, have them create an account, and here we go. The registration page can also be customized using user custom fields if you want them to fill in specific information not captured in our standard user fields. We will cover this more tomorrow, again in our Bring the Sizzle session. Self-registration is a great method for getting users into the system, but unless you are setting up your classes as open enrollment, you will run into a similar issue with the import user tool. Once they are in the system, they will need to be assigned training by one of your administrators. This will create their account and not assign them to the training. So if you are interested in a method that will create the student accounts and automatically enroll students into specific training, then we really recommend using training keys. Training keys are a wonderful enrollment tool that will quickly get students into their training, whether it's instructor-led classes or self-paced course assignments or subscriptions. Just like with the Create an Account button on the sign-in page, we can add a Register with Training Key button onto the sign-in page. Students can be given a key and they can input this directly on the sign-in page. This will take them to the registration page, and just like if they had selected Create an Account. But when they click Save, the key, which is aligned to a class or course, that will automatically enroll them into the correct training. This method not only creates the account for the students, but also enrolls the students into the class. So it's the easiest for administrators. You will only need to send the students to your TMS URL, give them a key, and the rest is up to them to create their own account, and they will be automatically enrolled. Students can create their own accounts. You don't have to worry about distributing credentials. And if you have your own site within the training management system, but not the option for register with a training key, feel free to reach out, and we will make sure that it gets adjusted. You can put in a ticket, you can send in an email for that, and we will for sure make it work. Training keys are an easy tool for enrolling students into any kind of training, whether it's instructor-led or self-paced. And we offer a few different types of keys that might fit your organization needs to get the students into the right kind of training. We have 2 keys for classes, the class enrollment keys and event training keys. And we have keys for both self-paced course assignments and subscriptions as well. Each key has their own benefits, so we will cover each type in more detail, as well as the use cases for each type. Let me show you how this works and go back to the training management system. The way I schedule classes, I think this is the most easy way, but this is different for everyone. Is what I'm currently doing. I have some Microsoft settings in it, so that will be mock content, but this can be content of EC Council, CompTIA, your own content that you've created with Lab on Demand, or whatever you prefer. If I go to create class, oh, I see that I picked a very old course, but that is okay for now. You can see here that you can allow automatic enrollment using an event training key. The system automatically will generate that key. But this is for events. When it comes to class enrollment keys, the first key type to use for your classes, they can be applied to instructor-led classes or events. And class enrollment keys are one-to-one for each student. So each student that you would like to enroll into a class will need to be provided with a key. You can generate class enrollment keys up to the number of maximum enrollments you have set on the class. So if you have a class with a maximum enrollment of 20, you can generate 20 different keys for your class. So in this case, we have a maximum of 20 students, so we can enroll 20 different keys for that class. We can also choose to just use one key. You can generate the class enrollment keys from the class page by selecting the training keys. The link is on the class navigation bar. And on the class training keys page, you can generate new keys and review which keys have been redeemed by which students, and when the keys were when the keys were redeemed. That is also something that you would like to know. You can also see which keys have not been redeemed, and class enrollment keys can also be exported from that page as well. Class enrollment keys are great for when you want to control who is given a key and have the redemption data. However, class enrollment keys would need to be sent to the student's individual, and these keys must be redeemed within the duration of the class. Once the students have their keys, redemption is very easy and can be done from a registered training key button that can be added to your sign-in page. Once the key is redeemed, that training will be applied to the student's account, and they can access their enrollment. While class enrollment keys require you to create a key for every enrollment, we have another type of instructor-led class key that allows you to create an event key, which will apply one key, which can be used for every enrollment. So what I've done here now is I've generated one key, but as explained, of course, you can generate multiple keys as well if that is what you prefer. Going back to the event key, this key is generated when creating or editing a class and may appear under the Advanced Setting tab. It might see that once you are logging into the training management system that you do not see this immediately. Then you will find here an advanced setting tab that you need to click on, and then it will open everything that you are currently on your screen. The key is great because you can create one key which can be emailed to a whole group, and everyone can use this same key to register and enroll themselves into a class. The event training key allows anyone to redeem it and can automatically enroll students up to the number of maximum enrollments on the class. However, because anyone with the key can redeem it to enroll into the class, so we do recommend managing your rosters and ensuring that you know who each of the enrolled students are. Let me go back to the opening screen. One of the other benefits with this key, by the way, is that you can change when the key can be redeemed. By default, the key will only be able to be redeemed during the class or event, but you can also change the settings to allow the key to be redeemed after the event as well. This is good for events with seminars where you would like to provide users access to content after the event. If you are using automated notifications, you can use a replacement token to send a key to an instructor who may be providing access information to students on the day of class. This is useful if you don't want to always send out the information manually to instructors for each class. You can also set event keys to show on all classes that you create as an organization default, so you don't have to worry about setting the key up each and every time. Both class enrollment keys and event keys are great for enrolling students into classes, but training keys are not limited to only classes that are instructor-led. We also have two types of keys for getting students into self-paced training as well. The first of our self-paced keys would be our training key and training key pools. Training key pools are a group of keys that are aligned to a single course. Training key pools allow you to configure the key availability period and when the key can be redeemed, and the content availability for how long students have access to the course for. This is great again for if you are planning on versioning out a course after a certain amount of time, or if you want to specify a limited amount of time for students to access labs, such as 30 days instead of 180 days. Let me open that I can show you. Training key pools are a little like the class enrollment keys, where everyone will need their own key. You can generate any number of keys that you would like to supply the pool with, which can also be exported again. And you can generate keys at random, or you can create multiple keys at once with your own naming convention or SKUs. You can copy and paste the list of codes in, and they will be converted into keys for you to distribute. There's that word again. Distributed to students. Sorry for that. In case you are joining later, this is Miranda talking. I'm Dutch, so that's the accent that you are hearing. Training key pools will also provide a list of which keys have been redeemed, by whom and when, and just like class enrollment keys, you can track the key usage. Back to the training management system. Training key pools can be created from training keys title. So here is the title, training keys. Oh, for your information, if you did not know, you can move these around. So if it's handy for you, if you use this a lot, you can put it at the top of your screen. You can manage your different training key pools from the training keys section. As mentioned, create a training key pool. You click on the link, and then we have here the basic information, and we have the generating of the training keys as well. In all cases, and I didn't mention this before, with each and everything that you're doing, don't forget to hit save. And here it is that you can change the availability to your students. Because training key pools are aligned to a course, you will need to create a key pool for each course that you plan to use. To provide to your users, of course. And however, if you are utilizing subscriptions, groups, or courses that students can access on demand, you can take advantage of subscription keys, and that is under the same tab as well. Where is it? I just moved it around. Create subscription keys. You can do that here. Like how training key pool aligned to a course, subscriptions key, I really have trouble with that word. Subscription keys align to a subscription profile and generate a subscription for the user when redeemed. Subscriptions provide access to several courses in the subscription profile that students can access on demand. Students with a subscription have access to these courses for a certain amount of time and can start any courses within the subscription whenever they like. This is, for instance, used by partners who schedule our ready-built challenges, for instance, for students. Subscriptions, the keys can be generated for a subscription profile and provided to students. And when a student redeems their key, they can see their subscription on their current training page. And when they click on the subscription, they can see all the countries, courses that they are having access to. Let me show you how this looks like. I will open my own account. Yep. Let me show you my account. This is something nice that my colleagues did. Of course, this is not my profile picture. For all colleagues that are listening, thank you again. But here on this page, you can find the subscriptions that you have access to once I log in as a student. But you can also see the course assignments, for instance, that I have access to. So this is what your student will see. One key can give students access to hundreds of courses, so you don't need to assign each course to the student. And subscription keys can be easily generated from that training key title on the site's administration page, as I was just showing, by selecting Create Subscription Keys. On the Create Subscription Keys page, you can select the subscription profile and generate the keys. You can generate any number of keys that you just like, the course assignment keys, but these keys are only randomized, so you cannot create your own naming conventions of the key. Once the keys are created, you can provide them to your students. You can go to Find Subscription Keys from the Training Key title and do a search to see all your available keys. And you can also filter by subscription profile as well. Also here you can do an export. You can export the keys or use output options to see who has redeemed the key and when it has been redeemed as well. I believe training keys are a really wonderful administration tool that saves a lot of time by cutting out the need for account creation and enrollment management. And depending on what type of training your organization does, we have a key that can help you cut down on the administration. With all keys, you can generate as many as you would like, and keys that are redeemed will become enrollments or course assignments or subscriptions, but there's no charge for not using any of the keys. Keys are an enrollment tool designed to make getting the training into your students as quickly as possible. So please, please, please let me repeat this. If you generate keys, there is no charge for the generated keys. We will only invoice you for the enrollments, not for the generated keys. That is really important to remember. It's a question I do get a lot of times. So keys are easy to use and allow you to make the enrollment process easier for students and staff. But there are also other ways of making enrollments easier. You can also configure your classes, open enrollment classes, or allow enrollment for certain users by taking advantage of user roles. By setting classes up as open enrollments, a student can navigate to a list of classes and then they can choose to enroll themselves into classes. It allows students to choose what training they want to take, when, and saves your administrators from having to enroll the students into the classes manually. For open enrollment classes, you'll most likely want us to enable the class browser on your site, and this will appear as a navigation button on your site. When students log into the training management system, they can click the class browser to see upcoming classes. If open enrollment is not configured on the class, they can request access, which can be approved by administrators, or if it's an open enrollment, if that is set, students can click the enroll button and be automatically enrolled into the class. Sorry. The class browser has icons on the classes for which classes have openings and which classes are at maximum capacity to make it easy for the students. If you are configuring your classes to be open enrollments, you can also take advantage of our automated waitlist feature as well to make the process even more hands-off for your administrators. If you are interested in using our feature to enroll waitlisted or requested students automatically into your classes, you can enable to the allow waitlist auto enroll for classes. Let me put that on the screen for you. And that option is on your organization preferences, by the way. If the class they are trying to enroll into is full, they will be put into a waitlisted or requested status and put on a waitlist queue. If one of the enrolled students decides to cancel out of the class prior to class beginning, the next eligible waitlisted or requested student or attendee, or how you want to call it, will automatically be enrolled into the class. You can also take advantage of automated notification to alert these users to their new enrollment, so you don't need to monitor the roster and alert anyone who is new to the class. This is a powerful tool that can be really help to make the enrollment process much easier. There is a caveat to using the waiting list feature. Of course, I'm going to share that with you. If an administrator removes a student from a class, users from the waitlist will not automatically be added. So you may want to update the enrollments if you are still manually managing your class as well. If you're still manually managing your classes by either setting them up or enrolling students without training keys, we can still make your lives, I need to say, easier to avoid some of the hassle. One helpful trick that we can recommend if you are creating your classes both individual and manually is the clone event option on your classes. Despite being on every class page, it's not widely known or used, and it can really save some time if you are creating the same types of classes each week. After you have created your initial class, you can click clone, which you can currently see on your screen. You click clone on the class page, you can find it on the class page, and this will create a new create class page with all the previous settings configured for you already. So that's easy. You can make changes to any of the sections, but the only thing you would need to do is change the class delivery dates. You can then just hit save and a new class will be created. So that is good. It cuts down on all the time you would need to configure a class from the start, such as selecting the course, applying configurations for event training keys, delivery methods, and or instructors. Also, in a similar case, if you are enrolling the same group of students in several different courses throughout several weeks or months, such as maybe a group or university students who are taking a course through a semester or a group, or users taking a multiple course curriculum, you can easily enroll this same group of users quickly without having to search for each user individually. This also saves a lot of time and is less painstaking. When creating your next class in the series, you can go to the roster of the class you would like to enroll students into and select the Add Students from Event option. This option will pull up an event chooser and just search for the previous class this group or students belonged to before, and then all the students from that previous class will be enrolled. You can then remove students if there are any that no longer belong to the continue group, and you can save to enroll them into the class. This is much easier than search for 20 individual users and adding each one to the class one at the time. So whether you are manually setting users and classes up, or if you want to automate different parts of the process or just make them easier, we want to support you so you can get your content into the hands of your users as quickly as possible. It's our goal to save you time so you can focus on the important things. So our tools such as importing users, training keys, waitlisting, they were built with you in mind to make your process easier. We hope that these features will benefit you as you continue to use our platform, and that they help facilitate your daily process in a beneficial way. If there is any question, always feel free to reach out to us. We are always happy to assist. You can contact the people directly within Learn on Demand that you have contact with. And of course, there is this wonderful 24/7 support team. There are no time zone issues, and you can reach out to them at any time of the day, and they will respond immediately. Thank you so far for attending this session. I hope that you've enjoyed it, and I would like to go to some additional questions that you might have, which of course we are happy to answer.